that mean
conspiracy.
that Tom Cruise is the real Batman?
Can I start?
I guess.
Make that face.
It's my face.
Okay.
Just go.
Okay. Welcome to Movie Pain or Pleasure Podcast, the show that talks out of both sides of its mouth. I'm your co-host, Melanie Harvey Dent Gibson. I'm joined by AJ, who's wearing a Batman t-shirt.
I didn't try.
I'm also drinking this little bottle. It's so cute, of Jim Beam Peach. Nice and summery. AJ, what movie are we talking about?
The best Batman movie ever.
Ooh, okay, we're gonna debate that.
If you think about it...
Oh my god, this is so good.
Well...
It's like a Peach Jolly Rancher.
Ugh, that sounds terrible.
And then has the burn of whiskey.
Ugh.
This is amazing.
That sounds awful.
Oh.
If you think about it as a comedy, quality for quality, it might be the best Batman movie ever.
And
because I laughed the entire fucking movie.
Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey at his 90s peak.
His buffoonery.
Killed me.
That's what Tommy Lee Jones said to me, too. He said he couldn't sanction my buffoonery. It was at a restaurant, and I went over, and I said, oh, yeah, great. I went over, and I said, hey, Tommy, how you doing? Like that, and the blood just drained from his face. like he had been thinking about me 24 hours.
You'd already done the movie.
It was just fucking, no, it was before the biggest scene we have together in the movie, and the blood just drained from his face, and he started shaking, and he got up, and he went, like this. He must have been in mid-kill me fantasy or something like that. He was like, like this, and he went like to hug me, and he said, I hate you. I really don't like you.
And after watching this, like, Tommy...
I was almost embarrassed for Tommy Lee Jones because he was so silly.
But he was trying his ass off.
He was trying his ass off, and he made Two-Face fucking crazy.
Well, I mean...
Like the Aaron Eckhart one in the Christopher Nolan movies.
He was written crazy, though.
Yeah, and he was just angry and grieving in the Dark Knight.
If this is how he came out after the what happened in the Dark Knight, like this is how Two-Face came out.
Amazing.
That would have been hilarious.
The Joker wouldn't have liked it because he can't have somebody funnier.
If he got half his face burned off and then he ran around town just stealing shit and going
waving a big cartoonishly large gun around. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this movie. I'll read a quick synopsis of it. Oh, you've got your coin that you're gonna flip. All right.
Well, this one's both sides, so...
So this movie was released on June 16th, 1995. Batman, Val Kilmer, I can't with this cast, faces off against two foes. The schizophrenic, horribly scarred former district attorney Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face, played by Tommy Lee Jones, and the Riddler, played by Jim Carrey, a disgruntled X-Wing Enterprises inventor seeking revenge against his former employer by unleashing his brain-sucking weapon on Gotham City's residents. Period. Holy shit, that's a sentence. Learn how to edit, you guys. Okay, there's one more sentence in this two-sentence synopsis. As the Caped Crusader also deals with tortured memories of his parents' murder. That's something you laugh about. He has a new romance with psychologist Chase Meridian.
She's the psychopath.
Played by Nicole Kidman. So, Nicole Kidman was in one Batman movie, and Katie Holmes was in another Batman movie.
And they both married Tom Cruise?
Interesting. It's a Scientology conspiracy.
Does that mean that Tom Cruise is the real Batman?
He probably thinks he's Batman.
He probably could have played, like, if they put him on a soapbox the entire film.
Oh, little Tom Cruise. Okay, so I looked up a few things today because I had some time on my hands, and it said, why is it called Batman Forever? Well, this movie is about duality, as you can see in my costume, and we have our characters of Two-Face, literally, and then Jim Carrey's character, who is Edward Nygma, and then he becomes the Riddler. Bruce Wayne we see a lot of Bruce Wayne in this movie, more than I think other Batman movies, and he really kind of struggles with the idea of, do I want to keep being Batman? And then kind of at the end he's like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm going to be Batman forever.
And it's like the end of Dragon Ball Evolution, where Goku was like, I'm Osaru and Goku. He was... Val Kilmer did it first. He's like, I'm Batman and Bruce Wayne.
And we're like, yeah, we know. Everybody in the movie knows. We all know that you're Batman.
Because of this stupid fucking smile.
We'll talk about that. Okay, and Tim Burton was not involved because, this is really funny, Not for him, but it's funny. The reaction to Batman Returns by the public was swift and brutal. Aw, Tim Burton. That's sad.
That's kind of a...
I love that movie. I cried twice when I watched that movie as a kid. Once when the Penguin visited his parents' graves, and then the second time when he died. Fucking Danny DeVito made me cry in that movie. I always cried for the villains when I was a kid, and I'd hide it. I remember sitting in the theater like, shit, I don't want anybody to see me crying over the Penguin. I always cry for the villains.
Okay. I don't know. That's a real bitch move on Tim Burton's part, though. People are mean. I thought it was because the production company was being like, hey, let's be a little more kid-friendly. Which they definitely got with this one. Well, they did
other
it
than
and
the
they
stuff
didn't.
with Chase after that bat dick.
What?
That scene where she's sleeping naked?
Oh, and she's like... Oh, yeah, she's real creepy.
She's real hot
She's,
for
like,
bat dick.
super obsessed with Batman.
Yeah.
It's like, let me get under that latex.
Is that a batarang, or are you just happy to see me?
And also, Jim Carrey, the Riddler, just going like, oh, the sexual fantasies I will absorb in my brain.
Yeah,
like,
there was some stuff.
What?
I don't know if this is very kid-friendly, but it was hilarious. Okay, we started out watching this as probably going to be a hate watch because we heard this movie was bad. We heard Batman and Robin with George Clooney was awful.
I think that one's going to be...
I think that one's going to be like a make me angry hate watch. But Batman Forever is hysterical. It's not good. But it's so funny.
It is. It's amazing. It's perfect.
It's also, did you mention that it's a noir?
Yes. It's a sequel or, what do you call it? An homage to the 60s Batman.
Yeah.
And
with all the angles. They were shooting it at all these angles.
Yeah.
It was
and
like
all
the 60s Batman.
Think of all the weird crimes they would commit, and then they would just sit and laugh and do bullshit.
Yeah,
they did that constantly.
They did. And
throughout
the
this
thing
movie.
with Two-Face and his two girlfriends, one of whom was Drew Barrymore, that seemed very 1960s-ish.
It did. And because they didn't have any reason to be there. They didn't establish them. It was nothing but aesthetics. They were like, well, he's evil and not so evil, so we'll give him this chick and this chick.
It's like how the villains in the 1960s Batman would have these hot Bond girl looking
But all they
henchwomen.
did was lay on the piano.
Yeah.
Like Liberace's piano.
Yeah, she was probably the most useless henchwoman.
But, okay, it's a film noir, sorta. Like, the banter that Batman, Val Kilmer... with his puffy face has with Nicole Kidman, it's just like Humphrey Bogart, like hitting on ladies and like throwing back like kind of bitchy compliments and shit.
I read your work. Insightful. Naive, but insightful.
I'm flattered. Not every girl makes a superhero's night table.
The whole movie?
Except for one part, and I'm going to get to that in just a second. So we'll go through a couple of plot points, and then I've got some Batman questions for you at the end. So it starts at the beginning with cartoonishly evil Two-Face has hostages, and he's stealing jewels and shit out of a bank, and Batman stops him, and so he's talking to Commissioner Gordon, who just looks like a giant... he looks like the Hamburglar or something.
He's so fucking fat!
He's still so fucking fat!
Like, he's just this old pudgy, like, oh my god.
Oh, I got out of bed for this?
Oh my god, Bruce. Thank God you're here. Come here. The guy in there, he's got all our shit. Go get him.
2 guards are dead. He's holding a 3rd hostage. Didn't see this one coming.
You used to be a cop, Commissioner Gordon.
I'm a damn good cop.
Fucking bring me another hamburger.
Yeah,
Bring the butter.
Are we fast-shaming Commissioner Gordon?
Yes.
He always like stumbles in his bathrobe up to the bat signal like he just got out of bed.
Only because usually Gordon, depending on which version okay, in the comics he's smart and he's a badass. In some of the animated movies he's smart and he's a badass, like he can fight and shit. And then in all the live action movies he's at very least a very competent detective. Then this one, he's just a bumbling fat dude that's always sounds out of breath.
I thought Gary Oldman was kind of a weenie in
Yeah,
the Christopher Nolan movies.
But he was trustworthy, and he tried. He was a good cop. He was a damn good cop.
He's a damn good cop on his last day of retirement. Okay. So Batman stops him, and then the whole press is there, and Nicole Kidman just sidles up to him to say, girl, what does this girl have to do to get under that bat cape? What do you think of dressing up like a rodent? And how does Batman respond?
Bats aren't rodents, Dr. Meridian.
Bats are not rodents.
Bats are not rodents.
He
has no sense of humor at all. Like, Batman usually doesn't anyway, but this guy has no sense of humor. AJ's about to say something edgy.
He's autistic.
Just a little bit.
He's really not a little bit. He's really autistic. Which is fine. Autistic people are awesome. But he's so honed in, and he has no sense of humor.
Not that autistic people don't have senses of humor.
Picture Hank Hill, but instead of propane, it's bats. What'd you say about bats?
Yeah, because...
God dang it, Bobby.
I mean, there was kind of a little bit of whimsy in what she said, and he's just, bats aren't rodents. It's like...
Bats are not rodents. And he's in the full suit.
And it makes it look even goofier. So her name is Chase
His
Meridian.
neck doesn't move, so it's
It doesn't move. It's so... This movie is so... We're gonna be giggling more.
him hulking over this little woman just...
Bats are not rodents. Okay, we're gonna be giggling like idiots through this movie, which is perfect because that's what Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey do for the whole movie. So anyway, her name is Dr. Chase Meridian, which sounds like a credit card. And she is it does. Chase Sapphire, Chase Meridian.
They could get Kevin Hart to do the...
I'm Kevin Hart, and this is Dr. Chase Meridian. Listen to her, y'all.
And he can tell us how to save on cash back.
Yes.
Thank you, Kevin.
So she's got the hots for Batman. Meanwhile, we see a lot of Bruce Wayne, and he's going in to look at one of his scientific labs, and this character named Edward...
Scientific labs?
What would you call it?
It's fucking... that's what it's supposed to be, but it's like if you took the little chemistry lab setup that they always have in schools to show you what it's supposed to look like, and they shoved them into little cubicles. Like a normal office cubicle.
Yeah, it was like office cubicles with Dexter's Lab chemistry sets or something.
And everyone has a big, stupid, like, doctor's coat. And... which is, I guess, fine. I wish Jim Carrey was the only one wearing that stuff.
Oh.
To make him look even weirder. Because he's just immediately like,
yeah.
Bruce, you're finally here.
He's a creeper, so he comes up to Bruce, and he tells him that he has this invention...
Brainwaves. The future of Wayne Enterprises is brainwaves.
My invention beams any TV signal directly into the human brain. By stimulating neurons, manipulating brainwaves, if you will, this device makes the audience feel like they're inside the show.
So... yeah. I think it's supposed to line up like TV content with what they want, and you can tune it into commercials. It's really Google Glasses for the 90s.
Like, it makes sense as an actual thing, considering the world we live in now.
I feel like Elon Musk or...
It's VR. It's VR.
Elon Musk or Zuckerberg would probably try to make that
Elon
happen.
Musk is trying to make it right now, and fuck you.
Is that why he killed those monkeys?
Yes, that's why he killed the monkeys.
Oh.
Just so everybody knows.
Just go to
Elon Musk pushed some fucking... neural link shit on some fucking... yeah, they pushed some shit where they put these neural links in monkeys' brains, and they knew that it was making them have vomit fits and other types of sickness until they died.
Yeah, so, and Elon Musk can eat a dick. I agree. Eat a dick, go to Mars, fuck off. Fuck off, Elon Musk.
Anyway, but, okay, Jim Carrey's The Riddler's fucking TV thing... not a terrible idea, but
the implication.
What the implication? He could be a Batman villain.
Oh, God,
but what he did that was wrong was he was like, Bruce, you gave me my job. I think I owe it. Give me an answer.
Right now. You have to give me an answer right now, because Bruce is like, oh, make an appointment with my secretary.
Let's do some tests real quick. And fucking, I don't know why I'm acting like I have glasses.
Oh, that's another thing in this movie. Bruce Wayne wears glasses.
Yeah, he's just like...
he wears glasses the whole time. I think that's cool.
I guess Clark does it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. So anyway, so he's like, I think we need to run some tests and then we'll get back to you. And Jim Carrey is insane because he's Jim Carrey, and he's like, you know what, never mind. You're fired, I guess, because you're creeping me the fuck out, bro.
Yeah, so he gets fired, and then after hours, he kills his boss and perfects his brainwave machine thing. And what he does is he alters the security tape. It looks like the guy just kind of dances out the window.
Yeah, it's like the weirdest, happiest, jolliest suicide.
Yeah, and then the note just says, "Goodbye, cruel world, I am dead." But, okay, here's a little detail that I really appreciate about Val Kilmer, Bruce Wayne, is that he's walking along and he's talking to his assistant, and he said, "I want full coverage benefits for his family." And his assistant says, "But the benefits don't cover suicide." And he's like, "I don't care. Full coverage benefits to his family." Good for you, Val Kilmer, Bruce Wayne, not shaming suicides. Good for you.
Yeah, like for once, he's a billionaire who actually uses some of his money for some shit that would actually be useful.
Just a little bit, because we don't want to do too much. Okay, so...
I will forgive Batman being one of the worst superheroes in this movie because it's fucking funny.
So next scene, Bruce has asked Chase to the circus because it's some kind of charity event. So a bunch of rich people are there. And while he's sitting there, he's like, this is nice hanging out. Maybe we should go out sometime. And she turns to him and says, "Well, I've met someone." And he's like, "Oh." And he doesn't know at this point. I'm like, bitch, you're so thirsty for Batman. You just talked to him. And you're obsessing over him. And you think you're together now? Girl.
Well, yeah, she does that a couple times.
Thirsty.
It's Rob Donati Jody or whatever. It's Raj and...
It's Raj and Suri.
Yeah, where she's like, well, I'm sort of seeing this guy, and this guy doesn't know. She's insane. And the other guy, she starts hanging out with him anyway, and then she starts to get to like him. She's like, "Oh, but I feel so bad about, my boyfriend," and Batman's on the other side. I wish he would have, like, forced her and played her against...
I'm like, "Oh, you've met somebody. Do I know him? I'm in a lot of social circles, so maybe I know who he is."
He was pretty just like, okay,
yeah, he was cool about it. Don't force himself on women. Now, okay, what AJ is referring to is a Bollywood movie called Rob Ne Banadi Jodi, and we did a video and an audio podcast on it a couple of episodes ago, and it is hilarious. Shah Rukh Khan plays two different characters, a sweet guy named Suri and a bad boy named Raj, and it's awesome. So... let's go on with the movie. At the circus, there's rich people around, so of course Two-Face and his gimp-looking goons show up, and I don't say gimp in an ableist way, I'm saying it in a BDSM, Pulp Fiction, bring out the gimp way.
He had the gimp mask.
They have, like, the hoods and the cut and leather everything and chains and piercings and stuff, so... yeah.
Okay.
So he's got his BDSM goons.
You just brought up the most unrealistic part of this.
Oh.
There's a bunch of rich people at the circus.
At the circus.
Where, elephants shit on people.
Yeah, so he shows up because he wants to steal all their wallets and jewels and stuff like that. Now, meanwhile, we meet Dick Grayson. And he is a part of a trapeze artist family, the Flying Graysons.
And they're already in their Robin suits, which I don't... That was kind of weird.
I kind of liked that because then it's a, it's a throwback or it's a callback later when the Robin costume
like,
comes
okay,
up.
Obviously that can't be his, like, real Robin costume because it looks like the original one, which is ridiculous. And he's, 22, finishing his last year in high school, so he has to have a big boy costume. But, yeah, so they all become heroes. / die.
Yeah, so I forget exactly how it happens, but they all fall to their death. So Dick Grayson is very, very angry and blames Two-Face, and he wants to kill him. So Batman, or Bruce Wayne, and Alfred, played by Michael Goff. I looked up how to pronounce his name.
Oh.
The Alfred from, I think, the first two movies.
He's in all four.
Okay, and he has a very comforting presence. We love Alfred in this movie. Michael Caine is his own thing. He's awesome too in the Christopher Nolan movies, but this Alfred really grew on me. Jeremy Irons, meh. I didn't even think of those Batman movies with, what's his name, Ben Affleck. I hate those movies.
Oh.
I was writing a list of all the live action ones I've seen.
He was fine as like a badass Alfred. This Alfred just wants grandkids though.
He just wants grandkids. Yeah, so he's egging Master Bruce to go ask Chase out. So anyway, he takes in Dick
He wishes he could take in
He
Dick.
takes in Dick to his big manor and says, hey, you can live with me if you want. And Dick is just mad at the world and everything. But then he discovers, everybody finds out that Bruce Wayne is Batman in this movie. He sees Alfred go through kind of a secret room, and so he does all these gymnastics to fly into the Batcave.
He was like a kid at the top of the stairs, and he's like, I'll make a little noise, and then Alfred will think something's going on. He'll go in there, and then I'll jump in there.
But Alfred made a good joke before that, because there was the one locked door. And Dick said, well, what's behind there? And straight-faced Alfred just goes, Master Bruce's dead wives. Bluebeard. The Legend of Bluebeard.
Great short story.
That was the scariest short story I've ever heard.
And, okay, now that we're bringing up, everyone finds out who Batman is in this. Not, like, publicly, just on their own terms. Melanie started to go like, that's never happened before. And then what happened?
Then I started naming off Bane figures out who he is, and then
Ra's al Ghul
knew who he was. And let's see, in the Michael Keaton Batman, he just rips off his mask like, I'm fucking Batman. I'm Batman.
So Penguin found out who he was.
Yeah, Penguin found out who he was.
In the newest Batman, maybe Riddler knows who he is. We don't know necessarily for sure.
And then at the end, finally, at the end of the Christopher Nolan series, poor old dumb Gary Oldman, Bruce Wayne. Like, no shit, everybody else knows this. So Dick steals the Batmobile, and that's really funny, because he goes joyriding with the Batmobile, and he pulls out these prostitutes, and the ladies are like, hey, Batman, what's going on, baby? And they're all leaning over, and then the Batmobile opens, and they're like, it's just a kid.
Which, no, it's not. It's a college student who's finishing high school.
But they have the hots for Batman, too.
I mean, it's Batman.
Everybody wants Batman.
He's got a badass car.
It's the car, right? Chicks love the car.
Okay, and also, prostitutes, excuse me, but even if it's not Batman, he's at least the guy that stole Batman's car.
Yeah, you have to...
Does he not deserve attention?
That's kind of cool. So let's get back to our villains. So Edward Nygma...
Fucking prostitutes. ...becomes
the Riddler, and I will say that Jim Carrey is just the right level of absurd goofiness in this to be hysterical. So the Riddler, chef's kiss, just the right amount of absurd Jim Carrey. And so, which kind of reminds me of the Frank Gorshin Batman in the 1960s one was a little more subdued, but he would always, he'd have that wacky laugh.
This one is not subdued.
And he would get,
He's dancing for no one. All the time.
He's insane. He's got that rubber body, all the Jim Carrey faces. It's wonderful. So he tries to partner up with Two-Face, and he says, look, I got this brainwave thing. You want to find out who Batman is. I want to get my machine out to the world. You steal a bunch of money, so give me the startup capital so I can start Enigma Tech, and we'll work together to find out who Batman is. And Two-Face is basically like, well, I don't have shit to deal,
okay. And the whole time, he's just like hunched over like, yeah, let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
I think he's in one of his spandex suits, a green one with question marks on it, and they get more wild as it goes along.
Oh yeah, eventually his final form is Elton John.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Let's save the splendor for later. So then, in a dream sequence or something, back to Chase Meridian, she's getting to know Bruce Wayne. She goes over to his house and she talks to him.
He breaks down her door one time.
Yeah, he breaks down her door, and she knows he's had some trauma in the past of losing his parents, so she's starting to like Bruce Wayne. So then Batman shows up in the middle of the night.
With no explanation.
No.
He's just like, I need to test this out. And he's on the outside of the ledge of her building, which she must have fuckloads of money to have that big loft of an apartment. And
you know what real estate's like in Gotham.
That big open patio outside, just stories up, and he just like sidles in.
Yep.
And just waits while she's
so creepy, and I think she's sleeping naked, so she just kind of wraps herself up in a sheet, and she walks up to him, and then she says the same thing to him that she said to Bruce Wayne. She's like, well, I've met someone. Have you now? Meaning, oh, Batman, I guess I can't really do anything with you because now I'm interested in somebody else.
Which also leaves the implication that This is the third time I think he's seen her face to face, and maybe this would be like the third sentence they've talked to each other. The implication being that she was just gonna, like, if not for Bruce Wayne, she was just gonna do it. Like they were just gonna go at it, like probably with the bat suit on. No, leave the mask on. She probably wouldn't even want to know his secret.
Oh, that's so Last Tango in Paris. Okay, and then the funniest visual gag from the movie happens because AJ's gonna do it for the camera, and I'll explain as it's happening for everybody listening to the audio podcast. She says, "Well, I've met somebody." He's like, "Okay, that's fine, I'll go." And then we get a close up on his face. AJ, do the face. We don't even see his eyes. We just see this little closed-lipped smile, like, he's so happy. Just this dumb little smile. It looks like a little cartoon smiley face, like, yes. So, Chase comes over to visit her new love interest, Bruce Wayne, at Wayne Manor. Now, at this point, there was some kind of carnival or festival, and Enigmatech had set up this fun box, like, oh, come in and we'll show you what your dreams mean, or something like that. We'll read your mind. And Bruce Wayne's like, the fuck is this? So he goes in, and he thinks there's something weird going on, but before he can shut it down, the machine sees a bat flying in his brain, and the Riddler and Two-Face are like, Bruce Wayne is Batman. That's how they figure it out. Not that Batman has all these super multi-million-dollar accessories and weapons and things like that. No, that there's a bat flying in Val Kilmer's brain. So Two-Face and his BDSM goons break into Wayne Manor, and they hit poor Alfred on the back of the head.
They just smacked the shit out of him.
He's an old man. You could kill him. They don't.
Somehow he lived, and he didn't even... He picked up Bruce and, like, sewed Bruce back together, and was just like, yeah, I fixed you.
Yeah, Bruce
carried you to the couch, you fat son of a bitch.
Yeah, they kidnap Chase, they beat the shit out of Bruce, which at this point, if you know Bruce Wayne is Batman, and he's your arch nemesis, why don't you just shoot him?
They sort of just
kill him.
Because this is a 60s style Batman movie. They sort of just run in and flying kick over his pool table or some shit and knock him out. And then and then the Riddler breaks into the Batcave and has a fuckload of fun.
Yeah, he just blows everything up. Dancing around,
hitting these like grenades with his cane like a golf ball and shit like that.
Yeah, and then he blows up the Batmobile.
Screaming at the top of his lungs.
Yes. So, meanwhile, Dick Grayson has become the Robin. For a while, he tried to convince Bruce, he's like, I want to fight crime. I hate Two-Face. I want to fight crime. And so he finally lets him, and Alfred helps him put together a costume. But he gets kidnapped, too. So now, Batman has to save his sort of girlfriend and his sort of crime-fighting partner. So this is when we get to, I guess, Two-Face's lair, but that's not the good part. The good part is the Riddler, as AJ hinted earlier, in his final boss form. Describe what he looked like.
He was sparkly and diamondy, and Elton John would have worn this in the height of his career.
Yes.
Like
white sequins. Yes.
Oh, God.
It's like, it would be like the winning costume on RuPaul's Drag Race. So he's got Chase and Robin both in these things. They're strung up, and if Batman doesn't, I don't even remember what the riddle is, but he's going to let one of them go, so he can only save one falling to their watery death. So Batman, I forget what he does, but he does something to the Riddler, and then all the brainwaves. So he was pulling in all the brainwaves from the people of Gotham, and it was making him super intelligent.
He basically smashed the thing controlling everything.
Yeah, so it basically melts poor old Edward Nygma's brain.
And also, they were both thrown in the same hole, so Batman could totally save both of them.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna.
That was a little weird.
Yeah, so he saves both of them. I don't give a shit. So then Two-Face is down there, and he's gonna shoot them. And then Batman's like,
"Aren't you forgetting something, Harvey? Your coin. You're always of two minds about everything."
Yes, of course you're right, Bruce. Emotion's always the enemy of true justice. Thank you. You've always been a good friend.
Robin specifically decided to save him, does not commit revenge and murder, and Batman's like, thank God, my time for murder, because he murdered his villain. He fucking killed Joker in the first movie.
With Michael Keaton?
He fucking kills Penguin.
In the second one. I know, because I cried.
Old school Batman killed everybody. He fucked, and not even old school, just the old movies. He fucked everybody up. This one, he just like, fucker. And he didn't care at all. He made a one-liner, and bye. Like,
bye.
they left. Okay, so
bye,
then
Two-Face.
the ending is the best part for me. One of the best parts, at least. Riddler is finally in Arkham Asylum. We get the shot of Arkham. Flashlights or thunder or whatever.
Because you know how they take care of the mentally ill in Gotham. They don't.
And, well, Chastity McQueen Chase McBanks, whatever her name is.
Chase Meridian.
Yeah, that. Sounds like a porn star name.
It does.
She gets this call, and they're like, okay, we got a new guy in here. He's crazy, but he knows who Batman is. And she's like, okay, I'll be right down there.
Like, how does this bitch not know who Batman is? Everybody else in this movie knows who Batman is.
And she's seen him.
She's a psychologist.
They talked about how he was Bruce. They kept calling him Bruce in front of her.
Yeah.
Like, she's... Okay, but wait, I think at the end she comes out and she's like, okay, we're good. And so she knows anyway. Anyway, it seems like she doesn't know. So she goes in there and they look into the last room in the building and they can't see anybody. They're like, Ed? Fuck are you? He comes out from the wall and he's just like, I am the Bat. And he's like in a fucking straitjacket that he's turned into wings.
Yeah.
Or some shit.
Poor old Edward Nygma.
I thought it was fucking hilarious.
I think Gotham is decades behind their treatment of the mentally ill. Arkham is horrible.
I mean, they already said that Two-Face was schizophrenic, which he isn't.
He's not.
He's got DID or whatever.
Yeah. So that's Batman Forever.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious.
Every second. I laughed every second.
My head off. This whole movie. Jim Carrey was hilarious. Tommy Lee Jones was hilarious. Val Kilmer unintentionally hilarious. Nicole Kidman, meh, I could have taken or left her character. Dick Grayson, I don't give a shit about Robin. So
Val Kilmer is so fucking deadpan the entire movie.
He's dead, and that makes it funny.
Which I don't think it was supposed to, but it makes it really...
It makes it funny because the Ben Affleck Batman is kind of a smartass. Like, what's your superpower? I'm rich. So he's a dick, and he's kind of funny. That wouldn't have worked in this movie. He played it like a noir movie. Played it totally straight-faced.
He did.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
So I've got some questions for you. So thinking about all the live-action Batman movies that are out there, now that I remember the Ben Affleck ones, I guess we can count those too. Mm. Who is the best Batman, in your opinion?
I don't think there's actually a good Batman, to be honest.
I might go with Michael Keaton.
I don't know. I don't like any of them. For me, they're fine. Most of them are fine. But nobody ever made me go like, "Oh, thank God, this guy started playing Batman."
Robert Pattinson really impressed me in The Batman, which the more I get away from that movie, the more I really like it. But it's also like, oh, okay, this is interesting.
He was good, but none of them have made me think, that's him.
No.
That's Bruce Wayne and Batman. Who might. I wish I could see him play Batman. I don't know if he has a very good American accent, though. It's Scott Adkins.
Could he pull off Bruce Wayne, though?
Yeah. He just has to use some of his English charm without the English accent.
Oh, there would be the best 360s and 540s and spin kicks.
He's physically the most accurate version of Batman.
Or what if it's Batboyka?
Oh, come on. No, I don't need a Russian version of Batman.
Yes, we need the Russian version of Batman, and it's Boyka.
If The Red Sun is ever a live-action film, sure. Make him Russian Batman.
So the best Batman, I don't know if we really have one. How about...
If I had to pick, I'm going with Christian Bale.
I might go with Christian Bale, too, because he can kick the most ass. I hate his voice.
Yeah, that's dumb.
That dumb voice of his.
I think all the voices are dumb. Val Kilmer didn't even try.
No, he was just
He's just the same voice the entire time.
Yeah. Okay, who's the best Bruce Wayne?
Pattinson gets the most time as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
But, like, he doesn't... Okay, they made that Bruce Wayne, like, almost a new character.
Mm-hmm.
Because usually it's like, oh, he's the playboy asshole, sort of. Which Christian Bale did okay.
He did okay as that. He'd show up drunk to places. I was thinking of Adam West, because he really played into playboy millionaire. Because back then he was a millionaire.
Since he couldn't be the physical rendition of
No,
Batman.
here's this 45-year-old hot Bruce Wayne. I liked Michael Keaton's little twist of crazy in his Bruce Wayne. Sometimes that Beetlejuice voice would come out.
Oh, yeah. Fuck. Maybe George Clooney's the best one.
Oh, fuck no.
I guess Robert Pattinson. He's the best character that happened to be Bruce Wayne.
Maybe. All right.
So.
Best love interest.
Fucking Catwoman from the new one?
Yeah. Maybe.
Just because it's her?
Yeah.
Like...
She's looking pretty good. She's got a lot of baggage. Then again, so does Bruce Wayne. And then she leaves him like, bitch, you know he's Bruce Wayne. He's rich. Stay with him. Now, I was thinking about... I keep going back to the Michael Keaton Batman. Maybe because that's the first Batman movie I remember watching. Vicky Vale, Kim Basinger's character, she was pretty good. And she finds out who he is. I think he tells her, and she's just like, oh, that's cool. She doesn't get weird about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's okay.
I didn't care for Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman.
Nah.
I know a lot of people think that she was really good. I didn't care for her very much. So I'm sticking with, what's her name? I can't remember her name, though I know her name.
Zoe Kravitz?
Zoe Kravitz, yes. I'm going with her,
so she was
Catwoman.
Selena Kyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, the best Alfred. Michael Caine's pretty damn good, but he's just Michael Caine. He's Michael Caine in every movie.
If he was just a bit younger, I think he would be even better, because he could still be sort of like, I'm the guy that taught Bruce how to fight when he was a kid, and sort of badass dude.
He talks about, when he tells a story about the guy burning money and some people just want to watch the world burn, he talked about being in the military or something, and that's what I always like is he has this special ops background. Yeah. That Alfred, so I'm going to go with Michael Caine.
Yeah, although I do really enjoy that the old Michael Caine for just, not Michael Caine, the old, Alfred, just for how nice he is.
Michael Goff? Yeah,
he makes
really
you feel at home.
He really does. Like, at the beginning, it's all this dramatic stuff, and he says, so would you consider taking a sandwich? So he's just straight-faced the whole time. He's hilarious. So, okay, best Robin. Now, you can include some of the animated ones. I'm going to go with Burt Ward from the 1960s. I liked him. Oh, and speaking of Robin, they do they do a joke. You know how Robin is always like, holy microphone, Batman. They're yelling in my ears. So when Val Kilmer and Chris O'Donnell are climbing up something, Robin goes, holy rusted metal, Batman. And Batman's just like, huh? That's exactly what that was the exact thing Val Kilmer said was, huh?
He was like tone for tone a dad that's working on something and their kid says some shit across the room.
Huh?
Like, what?
Yeah, and he's like, it's metal with holes in it. It's wholly rusted metal. And Batman's just like, oh, okay.
Like, he didn't even explain it like, I made a pun. He was just like, yeah, it's rusted through with holes. Like,
I loved Val Kilmer's reaction. So, but my favorite Robin is the one from the 1960s, Burt Ward.
I don't like Robin, like, as a character until he's an adult. Like, my favorite Robin is Tim Drake, who is never in anything. He's not in any of the media at all, ever. He's just in the comics, and he becomes Red Robin, which is dumb, but I like him because he's the only one who almost found out who Bruce Wayne was, and that's why Bruce picked him up as Robin.
Because he's got those detective skills.
He found Bruce's patsy, like the persona he created to be Batman if somebody followed the leads.
Yeah.
And then Bruce realized it and went to him and, like, sort of adopted him. So that's my favorite Robin, because most of the Robins are kind of annoying. So that's who I'm going with.
Okay, well, I'm going to go with the classic 60s. Best villain.
Well, can't really beat Heath Ledger's
I was
Joker.
thinking of Heath Ledger. Yeah.
You can't. Now, okay, but he's the obvious choice.
He's everybody's gonna. And I was thinking about this. Like, my favorite Christopher Nolan movie is actually The Dark Knight Rises with Bane. I like the plot because I don't really remember much about The Dark Knight. I don't care about the Harvey Dent stuff. I don't care about Rachel. I love Heath Ledger, but I don't. The rest of that movie doesn't really stay with me. I can watch The Dark Knight Rises over and over again. I love that movie.
So if you didn't go with the one that everybody would pick, which is Heath Ledger Joker, who would it be?
Who would it be? Oz from the Batman, Colin Farrell, Oswald Cobblepot.
He is amazing.
Incredible.
He's so good.
Is he the worst villain? No, that's usually the Joker.
No, he's just...
The Riddler did some horrible stuff in the Batman.
He's just funny and amazing and gets away with really fucked up shit for some reason.
Yeah, he was a likable villain. Cesar Romero is I keep going back to the one in the 60s because I watched that a lot as a child. Cesar Romero was good. I liked I was thinking probably my favorite consistent character villain played by different actors is the Penguin, because we had Burgess Meredith in the 60s. We had Danny DeVito in the 90s. He was basically just Frank Reynolds. And then we had Colin Farrell as Oz in The Batman.
Ugh, let's see, man.
So consistently over time, Jared Leto ruined the Joker panel of actors.
Strangely enough, there are only 2 of them, but they're kind of played perfect in both of these movies, is Riddler.
Ooh. Yes.
Like, in the new Batman, Riddler, super weird and creepy and has the online incel thing going.
Yeah.
Really cool. And then in this movie, he's fucking hilarious. and the Riddler is a joke.
He doesn't even have good riddles, but he's so funny.
At this point, he's just a joke, and that's why it's okay in this movie, because it's so fucking funny.
It's so funny.
So, Riddler might be my favorite. I don't know. As a secondary villain.
Villain for villain in each one. And Frank Gorshin in the 60s is pretty good. Best Batmobile. Hands down, the one from the Batman. That was some badass shit. I don't even like cars.
It's like a Trans Am or something.
It's so badass.
It's amazing.
Oh, it's so cool. Maybe because I've watched all these Fast and Furious movies, so I've got Vin Diesel in my head saying, "Yeah, nothing beats American muscle."
Vin Diesel is Batman.
Maybe that's the Batman we deserve.
Nobody would be able to understand him.
It's all about family because mine's dead.
Or fucking Bruce Wayne, who would just grumble all the time.
Nothing's more important with family. I go to the graveyard to visit
Stop doing that growling voice.
Okay, your dream cast, if you had to pick a Batman, a villain, a love interest, and an Alfred.
Ooh. Okay, I'm always over all time periods, so I want, let's see. I still think Scott Adkins, if someone taught him to do a really good American accent.
I'm going to keep it to the ones in the...
It has to be the people in the movies?
It has to be the people in the movies, yeah.
Because I had a whole thing already. I would get him. I'd get Peter Lorre.
Oh, yes!
He would have to be in there. We'll do this in separate categories. Okay, first, just the ones that already exist.
Yeah.
I feel like if we could get Christian Bale to stop doing the voice thing, I would keep Christian Bale. The Joker... Heath Ledger's the best... Oh, no. Our favorite Joker.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes. Joaquin Phoenix. I want to see him in a movie where he actually takes on Batman, even though he's kind of old. Joaquin Phoenix. We didn't even think of him when we were going through favorite villains.
Best Jokers. Yeah. Well, that's
best
one
villains.
That's probably my favorite live action Batman movie is Joker.
He's the best villain. I'm going back. Because he gets a whole movie to himself. It's not really fair. But still, okay. So, him, Joaquin Phoenix.
I'm going with Zoe Kravitz for the love interest.
Bane's gotta be the Tom Hardy Bane.
Oh, yeah. I love that Bane.
Not the one that we're about to watch, but Batman and Robin Bane. No. Alfred, I kind of want to see more of, who was it in the new one?
Oh, Andy Serkis.
Andy Serkis. I want to see more of him.
Maybe. He kind of bored me. Even when he got blown up, I was like, oh, whatever.
But he but he was like actually actively involved, and I believed it. Because in all the animated stuff in the comic books, Alfred is dumb, fucking stupid smart about all the technology and shit.
Dumb, fucking stupid smart. I didn't know where you were going. Like Alfred's not dumb. What?
He's always like, oh yes, Mr. Bruce, I pulled up the thing and decoded the thing, and I also downloaded LimeWire for your entertainment. He's always knows all this shit, and there's no way this old fuck would know all these things.
Yeah.
But Andy Serkis doing decoding and shit. Yeah.
Okay, alright. So, dream cast of existing characters. Now, you were saying you want Scott Adkins as Batman.
Yeah.
Who would you pick for your villain? My voice keeps cracking. God. I think it's the whiskey.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Like I said, all time periods. I'm going throughout all history of actors.
Peter Lorre.
Actually, I'm not changing my answer on Batman, but Humphrey Bogart would be interesting.
He would get all the ladies.
Yeah. So, okay, Scott Adkins
Sam Spade as Batman. Yes, because he's a detective.
Yeah. And he's an asshole.
Yeah.
So, Scott Adkins is Batman. Peter Lorre... who would he play, though?
Not the Joker. He's too subdued.
No.
Maybe the Riddler.
I was thinking maybe the Penguin.
Because he kind of looks like one?
And he likes that strip in his hair.
Oh, like in The Man Who Knew Too Much? Maybe.
I could see him doing backdoor deals and shit. Just like...
Kind of a gangster?
You can't touch me. I have all the mafia.
All the police are in my pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that.
So more of a gangster is Oswald Cobblepot?
Or he could just be a gangster.
Yeah.
And...
He could be Maroni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins.
Ooh.
Young Anthony Hopkins as the Joker.
Or young Anthony Hopkins as Alfred.
What?
What? He was amazing in The Elephant Man.
Yeah, but I mean... Fucking... He was,
Hannibal Lecter?
No. Oh, no, I'm fucking people up again. My bad. Not Anthony Hopkins.
But he could be Alfred.
Malcolm?
McDowell.
Young Malcolm McDowell is the Joker.
Ooh.
But yes, Anthony Hopkins could be somebody too.
He could be Alfred. Old Anthony Hopkins could be Alfred.
He could be.
Okay. So, there's too many live-action ones to do a whole
He could also
ranking.
be Obi-Wan Kenobi.
He could be Obi-Wan Kenobi.
No, wait, no, that's Malcolm McDowell too. Old Malcolm McDowell?
Old Malcolm McDowell.
My bad.
You're mixing up. This is what happens when we watch movies
I'm
on TV all
referencing
the
things
time.
that my audience doesn't know anyway because it's just shit we talked about when we were watching movies, so...
Yeah, so there's too many live-action ones to do a full ranking, so I'm going to ask you, what are your top... I'll let you pick 3. Top 3 Batman live-action movies.
Fuck. No, this is Batman. Can't just be DC or...
It can be all of Batman, so you can put Joker in there.
It's not fair, though. He's not... There's no Batman in Joker.
I know. Okay, that'll be honorable mention. Joker, out of all of them, Joker is miles and miles above as far as movie quality.
Okay.
So.
I got it.
Right.
So, the new Batman, because it's like...
It's really good.
It's pretty good. The Dark Knight, because it's like the quintessential Batman film. It's like, I think... If you were taking a poll, 80% of people, that would be the only one left if you could only have one. And this one, for the hilarity.
Okay, so Batman Forever, The Dark Knight, and The Batman.
Yeah.
Okay, my top 3 is going to include The Batman with Robert Pattinson. The Dark Knight Rises is my favorite out of the Christopher Nolan trilogy. And then also... Probably, I'm going to go with the 1960s Batman.
I thought you would.
Yeah. For nostalgia, but it's also a really fun movie.
So we each picked a comedy, the quintessential Nolan, like, real-world one.
Although I picked The Dark Knight Rises.
I know,
the one
but
with Bane.
still, and the new one.
The new one. Okay, so, worst 2.
Ooh.
And we can't count Batman and Robin because we haven't seen it yet. So, that would probably be one of the worst. I've got my 2.
You're gonna say... hold on. You're gonna say The first Christian Bale one.
Yes, I hate Batman Begins.
Yeah,
I hate
Batman
that movie.
Begins. I almost couldn't remember what it was called
I
because
hate that
Batman
movie.
Begins is such a weird name.
It's boring. I hate that movie.
I
That
like
one,
that
and
movie.
then Batman versus Superman, because I hate Ben Affleck Batman.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting they even exist.
Because they're shitty.
So Batman versus Superman, yeah, but one of the worst. And I guess the second Michael Keaton one.
Batman Returns? I can't.
It's
I
not
can't make that one.
good.
No, it's not good, but it's funny.
It is funny, but I wouldn't be sad if I never saw it again. Like, it wouldn't kill me. So.
Oh, I think mine's from nostalgia. Oh, and something that it has "Kiss from a Rose" by Seal at the end, which makes no
true.
sense. No sense. At the end of Batman Forever, there was kind of this poppy U2 song, which
Yeah.
I'm like, what? This doesn't really. But it was the '90s, so I don't know. Okay.
Okay, I'll change my answer a little bit. I'll just get rid of both Ben Affleck Batman films that he's in. I don't remember what
the Justice
ones.
League?
Yeah. Because I thought he was okay. I thought he was alright. She doesn't. I don't give a
Hate him.
shit. I think
Hate him.
I think he's fine. He's supposed to be kind of the older Dark Knight Returns Batman. That's cool. But those movies weren't good, so.
Oh, they were terrible. Batman and Superman was so freaking long, and so was the Batman. They both, but the problem was like, the big climax is over, the movie's over. No, it's not. Oh shit. So I don't have any more Batman questions. Do you? So the next podcast we're gonna do is Batman and Robin with George Clooney and the nipple suit, and I have the hunch that is going to be a pure hate watch.
I'm fairly certain this Batman suit also had that.
He did in one of them. Oh, this was a really funny scene with the Val Kilmer one. They redid the suit because his old one got destroyed, and they did close-ups on like the gauntlets and the cape and the chest piece, and then a close-up on the ass.
I forgot about this.
No, and it wasn't just like a rounded ass; it was in the crack. You saw Batman's crack.
It was like.
It was just a close-up on the butt.
It wasn't even just a close-up. They zoom in, they wait for him to turn. Like he's showing it. And they go.
That seemed very like SpongeBob Adventure Time kind of butt crack humor.
It was so weird.
Okay, so yes, we recommend Batman Forever as a guilty pleasure
Yes,
for sure. Okay.
Batman is a slut.
So we talked about
He is
Batman Batman recommendations. But what about other recommendations for maybe other actors who were in this movie? I've got a few. Dumb and Dumber with Jim Carrey. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes.
With older, wiser Jim Carrey. We talked about this on one of our earlier podcasts.
And he's
Dr. Robotnik.
And he's his fucking
Kind
weird
of,
cartoony self.
But he's subdued and angry. Okay, and if you don't want to watch the movie, just YouTube, Google search Dr. Robotnik dance scene. And it has this
so
incredible
amazing.
song called Where Evil Grows from 1971 by the Poppy Family, and I'm obsessed with that song.
It is very good.
Okay, so I have two more. The two Tim Burton Batman movies, because I think they're funny. And then No Country for Old Men with Tommy Lee Jones as he should be. Quiet and steady and Texan.
Yeah, Tommy, I appreciate that he reached out for an opportunity like this, but
Well, the whole time we knew he said that thing like, "Son, I can't abide your buffoonery," but he's a buffoon the whole time. Maybe his difference was
he's insane.
He turned it on for the character though. Maybe when
I think
when they
in
said
between
cut,
takes,
yeah,
like
he was probably just chilling between.
Jim
takes.
was probably cracking jokes and staying in character, not to be an asshole, but just because it was funny.
Because it was Jim Carrey.
And then Tommy Lee Jones was probably just like, cut. Okay, so. Any lines? Did I miss anything? Do we need... Okay, let's go again. All right. And... Fucking turned it on. But, I don't know if I even have a recommendation. Watch this movie. This is, like, known to be one of the most hated Batman movies, and I don't know why.
It's comedy gold.
It's amazing. If you just accept that it's a comedy, it's one of the best Batman movies ever. Watch Harley Quinn. There you go. Harley Quinn,
the animated show.
the animated series, which I think is coming out with a new season soon.
Oh boy!
On
Okay,
HBO.
HBO Max. You can watch it on HBO Max. All right. So, anything else?
We're on Twitch and YouTube and shit.
This is joining our cult and being my victim. The things AJ said Twitch, YouTube, Discord, which I don't know how that works, Anchor, Spotify, iTunes. We're also on Instagram, Movie Pain or Pleasure Podcast, and you can follow me on Instagram, Melanie Gibson Author. So go watch Batman Forever. AJ, anything else?
I didn't yawn until just now. The
Until
whole
the
video.
end. He held out.
That's
okay.
a new thing for me.
Bye.